Welcome to the Mountain Valor podcast. I'm Kat Wittenberger, retired Navy Senior Chief and Executive Director of Mountain Valor. Every generation has that one moment where everything changed. For mine, it was September 11th, 2001. I know exactly where I was standing aboard USS Theodore Roosevelt, who was in the room with me, and I vividly remember the weight of the intense emotional overload as we processed what was happening to our nation and what was about to happen to us. In the shadow of those attacks, something remarkable happened. We pulled together. Neighbors helped neighbors. Strangers helped strangers. Patriotism wasn't just about flag waving. It was about showing up in tangible ways to support however we could. My carrier strike group deployed 9 days later, and the outpouring of support through care packages, USO tours, and well wishes from around the world was incredible. It felt like everyone supported us, except, of course, the Taliban. But as the years passed, a divide emerged. For those who wore the uniform, the wars shaped everything. Our families, our futures, our sense of self. For most of the country, though, life moved on. That clean line left too many veterans isolated, not because we don't love our communities, but because we don't feel understood inside of them. By my third and fourth deployments, it felt like we were fighting for a public that didn't care about what we were doing or what it was costing us as humans. The jets still launched, the ship still hummed, but the silence from home was so much louder. That isolation isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Between 2001 and the end of the war, nearly 4.4 million Americans served in uniform. And we know rural veterans die by suicide at higher rates than their urban peers. Distance from care, fewer resources, and that quiet feeling of not being understood all play a role. Here's the hard part. Connection isn't easy. For someone who hasn't served, it makes sense that it feels hard to know what to say. For veterans, trying to explain experiences that feel untranslatable can be extremely anxiety-producing. Everyone worries about saying the wrong thing, and too often, the result is silence. Unfortunately, silence is exactly what isolation feeds on. Breaking it doesn't take perfect words. It takes presence, showing up, asking, listening, making space at the table, or just being there together in the awkwardness until it finally starts to fade. 9/11 is a day to remember our fallen, those lost in the attacks and those lost in the wars that followed. But it's also a day to recommit to bridging the gap between the 1% who served and the 99% who didn't. That's where Mountain Valor Fest comes in. This year's festival is on Saturday, September 13th at Crooked Mountain Campground here in Floyd. Mountain Valor Fest has already broken the mold. In just 2 years, we've proved the concept that motivated rural communities can truly lead the way in reducing isolation for veterans. Last year, we brought together over 700 veterans, their loved ones, and community members. This year, we expect to double that. The festival isn't just about food trucks, live music, or even the Remembrance Ceremony at 4 p.m., though those matter. It's about veterans, families, and neighbors coming together in a way that makes connection possible. We've created a welcoming, low-pressure space where real conversations happen, new friendships start, and no one has to wonder if they belong because we all do. And of course, we're not stopping here. Over the next year, we hope to expand this model to other rural areas across Virginia, because what's working in Floyd can work in other communities too. But none of this happens without community buy-in, and, of course, none of it lasts without continued support. It takes all of us showing up again and again to truly reduce that isolation. So this 9/11, I'm asking you to do more than just remember. Be present, even in that awkwardness. Because sometimes the most life-saving act is simply one person reaching out to another and saying, "You are not alone." Before we close, I want to thank our sponsors for making this work possible. BAE Systems, Angels in the Attic, Firebrand Media, Finn Graphics, Wild Roots Consulting, and all of our community partners. Your support helps us do this work, one connection at a time.